Alright, gamers. So basically, here I'll show you my fucking breakfast. That's a giant steak. It's like a 1.5-pound steak, salad, bread, whatever, all this stuff. You guys know what it is. But basically, my morning routine today, I woke up, I drank 5 coffees, I ate a bunch of this raw honey, I drank some Fire Blood supplement, and then I went to the gym, and then I fucking trained as hard as humanly possible. Easy. Beyond failure. I deadlifted 315 for 5 reps, which is kind of good, kind of bad, it's whatever. So, you can't fight cause and effect. You know, every single day when I wake up, I drink coffee, I'll have a little bit of sugar, like honey or something easy, right? Just speed up the metabolism, and then I'll drink my Fire Blood supplement, and then most of the time, the first thing I'll do is start training as hard as humanly possible. So, I'm gonna take the first bite of this steak because what else am I gonna do, you know? But at the end of the day, cause and effect is real. So even though I'm yapping in front of a camera and I have big muscles and I'm eating a steak and I'm doing a lot of the things most people like doing, I'm still not famous. And you know, that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just the result that I've achieved. Look at that beautiful pink color. Look at that. Perfect. You know? But regardless of what my intentions are, regardless of what I think is going to happen, my expectations, my dreams, my plans, my actions, whatever, the result is what matters. So a long time, for like years of my life, I did not actually accept the feedback I was getting from my environment. You know, right now I'm in crazy shape. Sure, my face is a little fucked up because of my hormones, you know. I still gotta get more shredded. I can always be more shredded, but the one thing I have control over is how clean my diet is and how extremely hard I train in the gym every single day, right? So, I'm on a mission. I'm trying to make the world a more shredded place. And I may not have achieved my goal yet. Hold on. But I'm getting there, right? And I can compare myself to where I was before, and I can compare myself to this dream perfection version of myself that I want to be someday. And well, yeah, I'm in crazy shape, obviously. Look at me. But it doesn't matter how big my muscles are. If I tell myself I'm gonna do something and then I break my word, there is something inside of my brain that's gonna start atrophying and tell you, you are not the person you said you were gonna be. So, so what's the answer? The answer most of the time is volume and doing so much action that it would pretty much be unreasonable for you to fail. So look at me. You know, I may not look perfect. I may not look like the most attractive, fucking beautiful man on the planet. But what person do you know who used to be in and out of rehab for addiction, who is now one of the most fucking shredded people you've ever seen? And the life I have right now is a result of my standards. You know? Yeah, I'm not gonna like magically rise to the level of my dreams and all my highest aspirations. That's unrealistic. But most of the time, you are always going to coast and float right above your bare minimum standards. So for me, sure, I have big dreams. Sure, I want a Lamborghini. Sure, I want to be a fucking billionaire and be traveling around the world doing whatever I want. Everybody wants that, obviously. But what people don't realize is that compounding consistency is the only thing that matters. You can't fight cause and effect. If you, for years and years, have been wasting your time doing the same thing, not making any progress, staying exactly the same, cause and effect is real. You are inputting actions every day. The behaviors and the habits that you have, the standards you have, are clearly keeping you at that base level. So what's something that I had to do to like actually change my standards and actually raise my level of belief in it was, I literally had to change my environment so I physically could not rely on my old coping mechanisms. Bro, maybe you're not as schizo as me. I literally had to fucking move to Florida and get a commission-only sales job, so I had no other choice but to work as hard as possible and make as much money as I can. Now I eat steak every day. You know? So, I'm not saying you have to be like me, but like, dog, don't you think it's gonna be easier for you to get the goals that you want? Don't you think it would be a little bit less likely you fucking scroll on TikTok all day and eat like shit and waste all your time if you were living in the mountains of Nepal with a bunch of monks meditating, fucking praying every day? You know, if I moved you onto a ranch in the middle of Wyoming and you're fucking herding cows and feeding horses, do you really think you would have a TikTok addiction? Probably not. So, dog, if the President of the United States came and knocked on your door and said, I need you to come to the White House, it's a matter of national security, you would probably go. So the thing I was suffering from was, sure, I had self-belief in myself. Sure, I was unsatisfied with my situation. I wanted more. Everybody does. That's extremely clear. But the one thing that I needed to get my head around was, how did I actually bridge the gap between my dreams and the life I wanted and getting rid of the old life that I don't want? And the more things you remove from your life, the more things you don't do gives you the more freedom to actually do the things that you want. Me, I don't waste tons and tons of time just consuming social media content. You know, occasionally, if I have a few minutes and I'm just, you know, sitting around, I have nothing else better to do, yeah, I get sucked into scrolling. Sure, everybody does. What's the other option? The human brain is not designed to do nothing. You're not designed to sit in the same place. You're not designed to stay the same. Every single minute of every day, you are adapting to your environment. So what do you think your body's gonna do if you walk into the gym, extremely caffeinated, you have fucking honey and fucking supplements in your brain, and like, you train so fucking hard and you push so much weight, and it's like, what do you think's gonna happen? Your body's gonna adapt to that stimuli and it's gonna grow. If you eat super healthy, filling foods and you eat as much food as possible every single day to get even bigger after your workouts, it's like, your body is gonna adapt to that stimuli. You're always gonna rise to the level of your standards, okay? So, the one thing that I did, what I'll contribute most of my success to, is I stopped making these declarations of powerlessness. I stopped making this ultimatum of, tomorrow I'm never gonna smoke weed again, or tomorrow I'm never gonna do this again, or tomorrow I'll never scroll on TikTok again, because the only thing your brain hears is, right now, I can't see myself being successful when I'm indulging in that behavior. And you attract what you are ruminating on and what you're constantly thinking about. If I'm constantly thinking about my fears and my stress and my pains and my disease and my weaknesses, your brain is going to start picturing that. It's going to start to expect that. Someone walks up to you and says, how you doing today? The first thing you're going to picture is what you've been talking about all day. Do you understand? So if I spend every single minute of my time creating content, if I spend every single second, every minute productively, somebody asks me, how you doing? What have you been up to, bro? And I've been like, fucking working as hard as I can. You know, it's just like, cause and effect is real. And the more volume you do and the more action you take, you can just make it a guarantee. It's like, I'm not even like, I mean, sure, I'm in good shape, right? I'm fucking athletic, I'm powerful, but like, I'm not the strongest man to ever walk the earth, you know? I'm not the most shredded man in the universe right now, but I am so far above my starting position where I was last year. So like, all I know how to do is put in so much volume and work so hard and just move so fast and just be so fucking shredded and so pumped up all the time and have so much coffee and just be talking as much as I can and writing as many tweets as I can and uploading as many videos as I can and making people laugh every single day, living as much life as I possibly can. The more present you are, the more minutes of the day that you are present, moving forward in your environment and not just sitting around in the same place daydreaming in these satanic possession thought loops that take control of your conscious brain. Why do you think it's extremely hard to have control when you're sitting on the couch and your spine is all like, imagine you're doom scrolling like this, your spine is all weak, your lungs are small, your chest is caved in, you're like a mouth breather. How could you possibly have control over your body when you're sitting on the couch doom scrolling? Me, look at me, I'm fucking shredded. I train so hard. I fucking hate scrolling. But even I still get sucked into it. Do you understand? You have to curate your environment so you are literally impossible to slow down. You don't have to be like me. You don't have to, fucking act the same way I do. Maybe your goal is to become the best video gamer. I'm like, great. Optimize for video games. Play it every single second of every day. Just like that phase you had in middle school when you were really obsessed with Legos or video games or sports or whatever. That time in your life when you were absolutely present, one of the best times in your life, you always had something to look forward to. Every single day I wake up like it's Christmas morning and I'm like, I can't wait to see what our Father in heaven has for me in store today. And it's just like, you don't even have to listen to me. You don't have to respect me. You don't have to like me. You just have to understand this one thing. You can have anything that you want, but you can't have everything at the same time. So what I do, I delay gratification. I wake up, I drink coffee, I train as hard as humanly possible. I have sugar in my veins. And then I eat the most steak I possibly can, and sweet potatoes, and salad, and all that bullshit. And I do everything in my power to be as present in the moment as I possibly can every single day. The greater the challenge, the greater the glory. And all you have to do is delay gratification long enough for your brain to flip the switch and unlock that new vision of yourself where you see yourself being successful. There was a long time in my life where the only time I could actually see myself being successful was when I just smoked weed. Weed is a psychedelic. It's a depressant. And for a long time, the only way that I could see myself, the only way I could imagine myself feeling normal or being in control or having confidence or seeing myself being successful was the only time I could do that was when I just smoked weed all day. So I replaced that with training as hard as possible every single day. If someone put a ton of weed around me and like I had nothing else to do, yeah, sure, I might end up smoking, but who gives a fuck? If I fill my time with so much fucking stress and I'm writing tweets all day and I'm fucking working hard in the gym and I'm fucking making people laugh and I'm like draining fucking step back idioms in the line at the store and I'm making people behind me in the line laugh, and it's just like, it's called aura maxing, bro. If you want more emotion, you have to move more. Every single minute of every day, I try as hard as I can to never slow down, to never stop moving. There is no such thing as standing still. There's no such thing as staying in the same place. You're growing or you're dying. So get more shredded.